What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Heck versus Hell, where the truth we tell. Welcome and welcome back. It has been a heck of a journey these past few weeks or so. And I apologize. That's my fault. I haven't been consistent. I know. I start so many episodes like this, and it's not good. It's really not a good thing. But I promise you, we're going to get back rolling. We're going to start pumping out more than we had previously, actually. And really just start getting the flow of things going and preparing for other people to come on the platform as well when it has to do with interviews and other segments that we will be rolling out. Stay tuned for that. Check out the RealDoubleDoseChannel.com. Well, it's www.realdoubledosechannel.com to be exact. Or realdoubledosechannel.blogspot.com as well. To get any more updates, continuously be there, updated on every single portion and movement that we are doing. There's going to be a lot that's going to be flowing in, especially now at this time. And we have a little special surprise for you guys as well, here that we will be unveiling and unrolling in the near future. If you diligently follow us, I think you'll love it. I think you'll love to see it. If you listen to the TSMA episodes, the RDC episodes with Lex, the HVH episodes, follow us on social media, all that good stuff, and just like being a part of the Blogspot and everything else that we're a part of. I think this is going to be something that you guys are really going to love. So, without further ado, let's go into this episode right here. This episode is going to be, it might have to turn into a couple-part series just because there is a couple things that I want to elaborate on whenever it comes to this kind of conversation and continue forward in a way to, it might be a mini-series, it might be like separated part ones, per se. It's going to be the same topic, but not back to back like we've previously been doing it, if that makes sense. So 2D, 3D, and 4D. This is a conversation that I've been wanting to have for a while, and I actually thought I had it back in like episode 40 or something like that. But if I did, I guess I lost the episode, or it was never meant to be uploaded. Maybe I just never recorded it, and I clicked record and it didn't record. I don't know what happened, okay? But regardless of fact, it is a conversation that is going to go about the correlation of the boldness in which we operate and the limiting perspective that we have being within the flesh. Now, the main concept that I got this from was realizing how it came to the point of video games. Whenever people play video games, if you're not familiar with them, you can always go and do a little quick YouTube video search where you look up different people playing video games or whatever. But video games, there are people that go and at the very beginning, if you are very, very new to the game, yes, obviously, you're going to be cautious. You're going to go and play that game, trying to learn it, figure out the controls, figure out which way is left, which way is right, trying to go and understand the game, right? And then once you start getting into it, you walk in it so boldly. Even if you're playing a certain type of game to where lives are limited, to where you can not make too many wrong steps, whatever it may be, we still play the game so boldly. And I say that in correlation to the flesh. Whenever we live in the flesh, we don't have the disconnection, because the boldness, it comes from understanding that the game life is borrowed and it's temporary, that it is not our final dwelling place. Right? We play the game and we know that, hey, our lives are out here. Now, whenever you go and look at hardcore gamers that play day and night and are constantly in the game and in the game and in the game, as opposed to casual players, those hardcore people, they play it still very boldly, but their emotions get more attached to the game. Now, this is why it's very important to meditate and to separate yourself from any external situations, right? Whenever it talks about the parables, Christ spoke about the parables and the different grounds that it is sowed on. How one of them goes and it is planted on the ground, but it is choked out through the troubles of life. And that's why it's very important to take a moment and separate yourself and have that communication with God within yourself, right? The self within the self, as Lex loves to say, and is very true. You know, the true inner self that we are, the spiritual nature in which God created us to be. Whenever we have those disconnections from the world, we are allowing ourselves to align more to the spirit, to remember who and what we are, and take ourselves emotionally out of this flesh in order to continue and do good things. And of course, by good things, I generally mean do the Father's will. Do what we are meant to do whenever it comes to the overall mission of why we are here in the first place, why we are placed on this earth. Because if you look at it, the coins that we gather throughout life, the achievements, right, the self-goals are so irrelevant to the overall mission. And I think that's something so beautiful that Christ showed us. Now, it's not to say that they, just completely disacknowledge them. Don't set any goals. Don't make any achievements. Nothing like that. But it's the point to say it's so much more minuscule than accomplishing our purpose in which we were set here for. Now, it is very important to go and plant what it is that we are doing. Plant the seeds and gifts that we were given in order to multiply those and bring back into the kingdom of heaven. It is very, very vital that we do that. So yes, there are certain achievements, certain side quests, right? As video game terminology to keep the topic of conversation. There are certain things that, it's really important that we do because they were given unto us, right? Imagine if Christ went and he only went to the cross. He didn't heal the blind. He didn't let the sick walk again. He didn't allow the blind to see again. I think I already said that. Bring back people from the dead. Imagine if he didn't do all that and he just came back to life. He rose from the dead. Now, that would have been still overall the amazing portion of what the mission was. But it wouldn't have given us the faith to understand who we truly are. Because there could be some people where, hey, that is their purpose in life, is just to spread that faith. So he had to come and do so many things, so many wonders. In the same way, we have to do the same thing because that little spark of the side quest that we were meant to do could be lighting and igniting the purpose of another person. So don't discount the fact that, yes, we do have to do a few other things. We do have to get those side quests in and collect a couple quarters or whatever it may, a couple tokens. Don't discount that fact, but it's the point of understanding that the disconnection and correlation between understanding a video game and our flesh and the spirit in our flesh has to be very similar. And we have to look at this body as something so much more minute, so much smaller, so much confinement that comes to it. Just understanding that it's not us. The flesh truly isn't us. It is a vessel that we borrowed, that we were born into, right? That was used as cultivation, but just like an egg, think of an egg. An egg has the outer shell, and it's used for that point in time in order for that yolk to be incubated and be born. Because you could look at the egg and say, okay, well, that egg came out of the chicken. Now it's born. Now the chicken's born. But the egg still has to incubate within the egg shell and come from the yolk into a chick. And it's the same way with us. We have to go and be born again. There's some eggs that just stay yolk and they stay eggs and they end up going rotten, and that's where death comes in. But we have to go and be born again so that we can break that flesh. So this conversation only applies to those that are born again and born in the Spirit. Because if you are a yoke still, if you do not plan on being born, this conversation holds no use to you. See, the boldness of people that play video games comes from exactly that, from knowing that, hey, you are living in a temporary life. You are not where your finish line is. And that's why it's difficult for atheists, Not to say they can't go and do different types of accomplishments, but I don't believe that's their full-blown purpose. Even like Stephen Hawking. Stephen Hawking was an atheist, and he went and discovered some crazy things according to science. I didn't even know what he discovered, to be honest with you. But according to science, he discovered some crazy things. Now, later down the line, I bet you they'll be proven wrong if we make it that far for them to prove it wrong. But we have to understand that either way, hey, he might have had that intended purpose, but it wasn't his God-ordained purpose. That's the very special part about it, because whenever we play that video game, we understand that there is a finish line. We understand that there is a goal and overall purpose. Now, yes, there may be multiple routes and different things, but the developer of the game intended us to go a certain route and get that wonderful game-ending win, right? Like Mario and save the princess. So that could be our goal. That could be our mission right there, is to go and save the princess. But let me cut that short just so y'all can marinate with that and have that quick understanding. And we'll definitely be having another part 2 on this, where I write a couple more notes and we go a little more into depth, even whenever it comes to the spiritual laws and more of the emotional connection when we are approaching this perspective, right? This disconnection between the flesh and the spirit, and seeing our character as exactly that, a character. That's why it's so wonderful and beautiful to see how true the Bible is. Because even with that, it gives us that perspective of how Christ was so fearless, of how it says, why fear man when God is the one that can damn your soul to hell? And all these men, all they can do is kill you. But they can't decide and be the determining factor of where your spirit goes. Ain't that something? But I love you all. I hope you have a blessed one, and we will always catch you on the flip side.